Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Sunday, April the 23rd, 2023. Man, I'm losing my mind here. Hopefully, you guys are staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. On today's episode, we are talking about you are not too busy. Because that seems to be the word and the phrase and the term I hear over and over and over again. And I've been in this fitness game many years at this point, and I'll talk about that obviously on the episode. But that is an excuse and a phrase I've heard more than I would like over the years, and probably more so now than ever before because we're busy. We're inundated all the time with technology and things and all the responsibilities of adulting. And if you have a job and a career and kids and travel and family, it is a lot to pack on. But I say all that to say you are not too busy for yourselves, my friends. And so, episode 533 times been doing this. Here we are. But before I jump in, real quick, some housekeeping things. One reminder: we are running our summer Advanced Metcon Challenge. I believe the start date, as I look on my calendar here, is May 22nd. Is the kickoff day. Now, if you guys like the Sunday Advanced Metcons, we share obviously on Instagram, and we've been doing that since basically the pandemic started, and we have never stopped to Sunday since then. At some point, maybe I'll pack it in, but you guys tend to like them and share them, so keep doing that. I appreciate it. And obviously, we load them into the app. It's kind of part of our weekly routine in there. That program is those Sunday Advanced Metcons, the best versions of those. Refilmed, reshot, kind of recoached and repurposed in there, and mixed in with our mandatory mobility program, which is a very, very deep dive into mobility, all the body parts, all the flows. And so what we try to do is kind of rebuild you inside of that program. So we break you down and we build you back up. I'll share the link when I have it. If you guys are on the app, we're going to give it away for free. Everybody else, if you want to join the app, it'll come for you for just a couple of pennies. It is a great program in terms of getting ready for summer. If you've been bullshitting, if you've been lagging behind, so we will rip your face off, and then in a healthy way, we'll put your face back on. Like when, if you watch The Office, Dwight cut the face off of the CPR dummy and then put it on his face like Hannibal Lecter. That's what we're doing, basically, but in a safe, healthy way. So it's coming, jeremyscottfitness.app. If you guys want to jump in there now, you get a week for free. Try it, see if you like it. We have 8 full programs inside across the board, all equipment, all levels, all my weekly workouts, upper body, lower body. There's a Metcon tab, there's a mobility tab, there is a how-to tab, there is a nutrition tab, there's all of our extras, macro guide, protein resources, everything under the sun. Our supplement guide is in there. It's a lot of stuff, and there's 1,000 free random workouts on top of that we have put together to kind of cover your bases. So all that comes for a couple pennies a day. So thousands of you guys are in there. I appreciate you. Suggest your friends. We'll give you guys a couple months for free too for doing that. But jeremyscottfitness.app is the site. Check it out and join us. Also, we're brought to you by my friends at JLab Pro. This is where I get my protein, turmeric, my collagen, and my krill oils. I take most of those things each day, if I'm being completely honest, which with you guys I always am. I don't take the protein powder every single day. A lot of the days I can just eat my protein, but on the days where maybe as it's getting hotter here, it's just kind of part about being in the desert. It gets hot as shit, if you didn't know. We basically become Earth's oven, and some days it's just hard to eat that much food when it's so warm. And so that's probably the time of year where I'll do more protein shakes. And so I do like Jay's protein. I typically go with vanilla, but sometimes if I want to be fancy, I'll do chocolate. And all of our mixed berries, nut butters, those things, I'll throw the collagen and the turmeric in there. I actually throw my athletic greens in there too. And have myself a little, fruity kind of protein smoothie. But it's sweetened with stevia. It's easy on my stomach. That's why I like it. And I know Jay. He's a registered dietitian. I've known him for a long time. He puts out good stuff, and that's somebody we trust, and that's who we work with. So if you guys want to check it out, jeremyscottfitness.jlabpro.com. The link is in the show notes. We always have a discount code on the protein. We always have one on the collagen for the first time purchasers. And then again, we take their turmeric because it's fermented and I think it's one of the best out there. And then also the krill oils as well. I like to buy things from people I know and trust that aren't shady assholes. So that's why we work with them. That's why I've been with him for over 10 years. And we're brought to you by, drumroll, my homies at Athletic Greens. You already know the one thing I take every single day and I never miss. athleticgreens.com/Jeremy Scott will give you guys a year's supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with order 1. If you've heard about them somewhere else, if you've seen them, if somebody has mentioned them and you've never taken them but you want to try them, shoot me a message. Send me a DM. I will send you some right to your front door 100% for free, no questions asked. If you think they suck, don't buy them, go do something else. But honestly, they're the best tasting greens on the planet. And if you're talking micronutrient per micronutrient, probiotics, digestive enzymes, you can't fuck with them. Like they're just the top dog. They're the Michael Jordan. They're the GOAT of greens. That's why we work with them. They've been a great partner to the podcast, a great partner to me, and it's something I never miss. It's an easy hack in my day. I'm not going to take 14 different pills every single day. I'm a normal human. I get tired. I travel. I got shit going on. But how hard is it for me to take a scoop or a travel pack, rip it open, throw it in some water, shake it, and slam it? It takes off about 20 seconds. You have to be the laziest human on earth not to be able to add that into your life. So no offense, everybody. It's an easy solution. It's an easy fix. And even if your diet is not perfect that day, you can cover the gaps in your nutrition and get the micronutrients you need in to stay healthy, be healthy, build your immune system, and look like Rambo or Beyonce or insert whatever, body type that you think is fancy and you would like to emulate. This will help you be healthier. And if you're healthier, you move more, you feel better, and the byproduct is you look better because of the work you do. So hit me up for a free sample. Otherwise, athleticgreens.com/Jeremy Scott gets you all the free stuff today. And again, you guys, don't feel weird about asking. That's why I offer. If I didn't want to send the free samples, I would never say that. But we're happy to help you guys. We send out stuff every single week. And that is my gift to you. So with that said, it is about 12:30. My plan was to start this at like 11, and here we are. And I say this a lot on here. I would do like 90% of what I do already for free. I might scale back some of the things, but for the most part, I would do a lot of this stuff for free. And admittedly, today is a day where when I get done doing this, everything I have to do is the stuff I would not do for free. It's the stuff I do to get paid, to create an infrastructure, to keep it running, and I'm just not really looking forward to it. So I'm just being honest with you guys. You ever just at work and you're like, you know what? You got a case of the fuck-its where you're just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it today. I don't want to do this. This just seems like some bullshit. Unfortunately, that is where my brain and body is heading at this point after our Sunday Metcon and in doing some of the meetings and the talks I've had to do already today. But that's my soapbox, and I'm going to sit there and be a salty bitch on it for a little bit. But here we are. When you're your own boss, you got nobody to blame but yourself. But here I am, and I'm with you guys. And we're talking about you're not too busy, and I'm not too busy to do this and give it to you guys, just like I wasn't too busy to wake my ass up super early today and do all my mobility and get all the work done I have to get done after this. And that's what we are touching on in the episode. Now, there is a quote that I want to share and just touch on, obviously, a couple of things before we kick off. And again, I'm not against all the awesome information out there. I mentioned this maybe a week ago. When you go on social media, the algorithms, if it's for your business, it might be different. If it's for just you as the individual user, the apps are designed to keep you on there as long as humanly possible. If you don't know that, I just pulled the curtain back on Oz. Now you know what's going on. And because of that, if you're somebody and you're like, you know what, the app always shows me negative, awful stuff, it's because you click on and read negative, awful stuff. Now, I will never get tagged in news posts or any type of global news or local news because I don't watch that shit and I don't subscribe to it. And not that I'm not aware. I'm around enough humans and I hear enough stuff on the fringes where I know what's going on. But I always figured, like if I can't really impact it Why am I going to sit and worry and fester about it? I'm educated on the things that matter to me, but my brain is not equipped to watch global news and all the horrible shit that they share and that goes on. And I'm not telling you what to do, but I think for a lot of you, if you're stuck in that, watching whatever acronym news station you watch, it's probably healthier if you don't do it as often as you're doing it. And I know I'm just a fitness knucklehead in a warehouse, so what the hell do I know? But the way I figured it is something, not positive will happen because they don't tend to really share positive stuff. It's not like I can change it anyway. So, hey, Jeremy, did you see this on the news today? No, the administration is not calling me like, hey, let's see what Jeremy thinks on this and the decisions we make. Like, they don't give a fuck about my opinion. So I tend not to take in information that is overly negative, and especially if it's about something I can't control and it's not something that I can hedge against or pivot or protect against. That's just me. Which brings me to this Derek Siever quote. If more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs. I'll say that quote again because I hopefully it hits home for a lot of you guys. If more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs. And I share that on, multiple fronts. Obviously, you need to be educated and you need to be informed. But whether it's finance, whether it's for your relationship, whether it's with, the economy, or if you're talking politics, if you're talking fitness, and nutrition specifically, there is more information out there now than there's ever been in terms of fitness and mobility and nutrition and all the hacks, all of the biohacking, and you need to do red light therapy and you need to take a cold plunge, at this time of day, and you have to wait this many hours till you drink coffee. And I'm not saying all that stuff isn't helpful and beneficial. But fuck, man, if we're not confusing the hell out of the average person. Like a normal person would come in and they're like, so basically my whole life is wrong and I have to overhaul everything. We're doing people a disservice when we just flood them with all the stuff. And that's all the good stuff, let alone all the misinformation and bullshit that's out there. It's really, really daunting. It just really is. And I share that for people, hopefully, just simplify. Simplify your life. And I know BJ Gaddour touched on this a while back with me. He's like, don't listen to 15 different podcasts. Just pick, a couple, one or two, and kind of stick with it. Because oftentimes we get information overload and then people get, paralysis by analysis and they don't know where to start and they don't know where to begin. It just seems like, well, I'll never get healthy, or I'll never get out of debt, or I'll never have a good relationship because I got to do all these things. Skill acquisition, my friends, like one thing at a time. Commit to one thing at a time. Commit to the minimum effective dose that you need to do to be moving the needle forward. If you don't do any mobility today, work on one mobility drill this week and do it for a couple minutes. You have the time. If you don't know where to start in terms of, saving money and making money and investing, do one thing today. Commit to saving $10 a day every day for the next 50 days. Just start there. Those little habits do snowball, and they will beget other good habits. But you just have to start somewhere. And you can't look at everything in the macro, just focus on the micro. And more information for most people is not the answer. You have to actually do shit. Knowing is not enough. You have to actually try. You have to actually do. And sometimes you're going to fail. And it's way better to be like ready, fire, aim, than ready, aim, wait for 10 years, and then maybe fire. Like, for me, the greatest life lessons have came from doing stuff, trying stuff, and typically failing and fucking up a bunch of shit. That's the only reason I can share any value with you guys is, one, I've been a complete fuck up in so many areas of my life for so long. And then two, now that I've learned from all the dumb shit that I did, I get to hang out with really smart, successful people, and then I can be in that circle, and now I learn from their mistakes and the things that they've done by listening. So take that for what it is. You probably already know the basics in most things, and if you don't, just narrow the focus down. If more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires and we'd all have six-pack abs. But that is not the case, my friends. Information overload is a real thing. Sometimes just drill down and then take the information you have and start putting pen to paper, start letting the rubber hit the road and actually fucking do things. Because the reality is, for most of you, and I'm the same way here, 9 out of 10 times, the biggest limiting factor is your own mind. I'll say this. 9 out of 10 times, the biggest limiting factor is your own mind and your own fears and your own insecurities about what you think the world will think. And if you don't believe it can happen, it's not going to happen. If you believe it happened, it has the possibility to happen. It doesn't guarantee success by any means. I believed a lot of things and that shit didn't work out, and that's all right. But if you believe it will never happen and that you suck and you're too busy and you don't have time and it can't work, it's not going to work. But most of that shit is in your head. It really is. And for anybody out there who's looking to kind of break the mold of their social circle, eat different, train different, change jobs, stop drinking, take their relationship in a different direction and be healthier, and they're worried about what the world will think or their partner will think or the judgment or the fear, that shit's in your head. And by the way, 100 fucking years from now, no one will remember any of this shit and no one will have cared. So why are you holding yourself back? That's not really nothing to do with today's podcast, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I know there's a lot of people who listen to this and I get a lot of messages from you guys and I appreciate them. I can't possibly answer them all, but I know so many of you can do really fun, cool, dope, awesome shit with your life that you're not doing because you're just afraid to take the leap. And there's a quote, and I don't know where I heard this, and so I can't give it proper credit, but years ago I heard this quote where it's like, you don't get courage before you take the chance. You don't get courage before you do the scary shit. You get courage after you do the thing that scares the shit out of you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, you don't get the courage before you jump out of the airplane from skydiving. You get the courage after you jump out of the fucking plane. I've done it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I wish I could feed to everybody. Like, you get to become the person after you do the thing that freaks you out. But the thing that freaks you out and scares you and is holding you back is limiting you from becoming the person who would take that chance anyway. So sometimes you just got to do the work and take a leap of faith and see where it is. But I digress. The episode today, you're not too busy. And I'm going to play off a little bit of a piece I saw from Justin Ewell a long, long time ago. And Tyler English put out an awesome thing too that I want to share with you guys that I'll leave at the end, which typically is talking to men specifically. So I feel comfortable there because I'm a man and I feel free. I can crush you guys if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So with that said, to quote the great Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G., I've been in this game for years, a long, long time. First training cert was 2005. So 18 years I've been doing this, working with people. I think for a lot of people listening, that's a long time to be doing any one job. The beauty is that this thing has kind of changed and evolved and shifted into a bunch of different things over the years. So I haven't got bored of certain things yet. So 18 years, doing fitness for a living, 13 completely solo as an entrepreneur where nobody is my boss and nobody is writing me a paycheck and no one can tell me what the fuck to do. And it's not been easy. And there is a loneliness tax that I have paid over and over and over and over again, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And that works for me and for my life. And I've seen the trends. And at this point, I can predict a lot of things that are going to happen within human behavior. And just like clockwork, you start to hear it about this time of year. And most fitness people know where I'm going to go with this. It's, as it gets closer to summer, here for us, our neighbors, not across the street, but just down the street last night had prom. And man, it makes me feel old as fuck, dude. Because I remember just being a 17-year-old savage going to prom with one thing on my mind. It wasn't dancing. But I've seen all these dudes over there, just as Heather and I are going to dinner. We're like, man, dude, time is kind of flying. So for us, this is like the end of the school year for them because it becomes super hot here, and then kids obviously bounce out of school earlier. If you're in the Midwest or on the East Coast, you might be looking at this in like the next month or two. But it's when summer's approaching, and you start to hear from clients, and if you're just a normal person listening to this, it's that some form of I'm too busy to exercise. I'm too busy to stick to the program, which is bullshit, and you know it. But you'll hear that, well, we're traveling a lot this summer, and, Billy's got baseball, and Amanda has, cheer camp, and we just can't, commit to coming in a couple of times a week. And, between planning for a graduation party or, I got to get my kid off to college. I'm like, what, is that a 3-month process, or don't you just pack up their shit and take them? I was once a kid, and I don't feel like my dad punted his normal activities to get me ready for college. Now, things might have changed in my older age, but it's an excuse we do hear here. Or, with the kids home from school, I just can't find the time to move around and eat right. And really, the list of bullshit goes on and on and on. And these, my friends, are not reasons to skip working out. These are not reasons to not stick with your program, whether it be in person or digitally. This, my friends, is not a reason to eat and drink like a complete asshole. No, no, no. These are not reasons. These are excuses that I hear as a professional and I've heard over the years over and over and over. These are not reasons why you can't do something. They're excuses of why people can't work out or be healthy over the summer to make yourself feel better, because they're not legitimate reasons. And you will hear the phrase, I'll be walking and biking and hiking and gardening a lot. Now, if you're that person, before you think to yourself, Jeremy, you're an asshole because that's what I'm going to do this summer and that works for me. Just hear me out. And before you tell me that, like, I don't get it because I don't have kids or this is what I do for a living, I just need you to stop and just listen to me for a second. We have clients that have been with us for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Some of these people have been here for damn near 13 years, which is crazy. We literally have seen their kids grow up here. Again, I'll go back to that. People are always like, well, Jeremy, you're not old. I know I'm not old, but when I see a kid here that used to basically poop their pants, and now that kid is going to college and they're a freshman, it doesn't make me feel young. So you take from that what it is. But we have literally been here and seen kids grow up right before our very eyes inside this gym. Elementary school kids to high school kids to college kids and beyond. And these clients who had these kids with all their summer activities and all their shit going on, they didn't skip a beat, man. They came in here and they managed to show up, be it 2, 3, 4 times a week, all year round. They took their vacations, they did their stuff, and they did the best they could when they're on vacation. But they didn't punt a whole month. Didn't take off all 2 or 3 months. They made it a priority. They made it mandatory in their life to do something to stick to a program and not just, well, I'm going to go walking. And again, walking's great, dude. Doing hiking is great. Doing gardening is great. But some of the days you have to do things if you really want to move the needle forward, to maintain your ranges of motion, to maintain a certain level of strength, to maintain your mobility, to maintain your cardiovascular endurance for life. And I share that because are these people better than anybody listening who has punted an entire summer or punted half a year? No, they're not better than you. Not one bit. But what they do is they think differently than you do. They have framed it differently than you do. They're looking at it through a different lens, and they're making it what it really is, the ultimate priority in their life. People saying, I'm just too busy to work out, it's a bullshit statement, and you know that. The next time you think you're too busy to take care of yourself, and I'm not saying buy my app. I'm not saying join our gym here. I don't give a shit. I want you guys to be healthy and do what works best for you and your goals in your life. And what I'm telling you is, I couldn't imagine, and we talked about this last night at dinner. Heather and I took Colleen Fosh out. If you guys have listened to the podcast, she's been on multiple times. She's the freak of the freaks. We were just talking about, as we do, gracefully get older, how goals change and different things change, but especially for us. And now we're psychopaths. Colleen and I, and Heather is a different animal in her own right for sure, and I'm sure she loves me saying that, but she's a psycho, and she trains super fucking hard, and she'll travel for work, and she's always in the gym super early before work meetings. She never makes an excuse. And we're sitting around talking. Can you imagine a time in our life when we say, hey, we're just too busy to exercise? Even if it was like, and we're in a day and we have a bunch of kids and we have all this shit going on, to not do something specifically 2 days a week at least. Like, hey, I got to do at least this many push-ups, squats, I have to do this much mobility, I have to do this many hangs from the pull-up bar, just to keep your body prime and healthy for movement. And I share this from a fitness person's perspective, so I know it's kind of skewed, but fitness has saved my life, you guys. Think about work. Like, if you work at your job and you have a shitty day at work and 14 things went wrong and your boss is, up your ass and you lost a deal or you didn't get this contract back in time, so you got fucked out of your quarterly goals and now you're dealing with this, and that was your day. And you go home and maybe your kid, shits his pants, and then your other kid is, telling you to fuck off because they're 14 and they're hormonal or whatever. And that's your day. You didn't get any wins. You just took a bunch of losses. If nothing else, that training session could have been your win. You feeling accomplished of doing something physical that you need to do, it's gonna suck when you're in it because your brain is 18 different places, but you trained through it. That workout made you feel better that day. It released something in your body. It gave you a sense of accomplishment, and you stacked another fucking brick for the next workout, and the next week, and the next week. We sat and talked about that last night. I go, I couldn't imagine a time where I didn't do that because it just saved me from so many days. I run a business, you guys. We run multiple businesses here. I'm responsible for about 6 different people, and we pay them to do the things that they do here. And I'm very thankful, and it's awesome. But it comes with a certain level of stress, obviously, and responsibility. You try to do the best you can by them. And I deal with a lot of consumers and customers, like many of you do at your jobs. And sometimes shit just goes sideways. You wake up planning on having a good day, and you just get kicked in the dick 9 different times, and it's not super fun. And I can't control a lot of that. I can control the way that I react to it, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes I don't react the best, like anybody else. But what I can control is me coming in here and doing my mobility and pushing a sled and hitting the bench press and doing some split squats and banging out some pull-ups, and it can feel like I did something for the day. That saved the day for me, so it wasn't like a complete L. Because I can take losses, dude, but I don't want to take losses the entire day, all day on everything I do. I got to stack up a couple W's, and that has built confidence in me, and that has, it's like an oxygen. Even though it takes energy to train, it gives me this, oxygen so I can breathe and keep going and keep showing up day after day after day. And that will be my hope for you guys, to not punt all of your training and all of your fitness as the summer months come up. And so the next time you think you're too busy and you can't make it happen, maybe instead of saying, I'm just too busy, you can say it that way, but maybe finish the phrase with, I'm just too busy to care about my health and fitness today. We're traveling a lot this summer. That's more important than me being healthy, fit, and active. Between planning for graduation parties and getting my kid off to college, my health, my fitness, my eating, my mobility, that needs to take a back seat. Well, with my kids home from school, I want to teach them that health and fitness and nutrition and getting good sleep and having good drinking habits isn't really a priority. Would you ever say that as an adult? No, because it's fucking ridiculous. But yet, that's what a lot of people are doing each and every single day. They're putting every single thing in their life above their own health and their own fitness. And that makes zero fucking sense to me. When you phrase it like that, I'm just too busy with work and my kids and travel to give a fuck about my body and my life and my physical health and my emotional health and my mental health, that changes things a little bit, right? When you flame it that way. Like the lens in which you hear and see it changes when you start talking truths. Not just creating a narrative to make you feel better about missing workouts or eating like shit and making poor choices, which deep down you know they're poor fucking choices. Everybody knows deep down when you punt exercise for a week and you eat like garbage, you're not making a good choice. You know that. We all inherently have that inside of us. Your health and your fitness and the way that you treat yourself physically and mentally and emotionally, it shouldn't take a backseat to anything. Because without your health, you guys, your life sucks. And you've all been there. Trust me, I've been sick. I've been injured. I've been in pain. I've been depressed. And it's a horrible fucking way to live. Or should I say survive? Because the reality is like that shit ain't living. That shit is just surviving, trying to get it to the next day. And a lot of times for me in my life, those came from me not giving myself enough time, enough self-love, enough doing of the proper things because I thought, well, I had to build this or I had to do that. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just speaking from experience. Nothing is worth your health. Nothing is worth your peace. And nothing is worth your happiness. It isn't. And there's different seasons of life, right? There's seasons where you'll train more and you'll train less, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you can't let things steal your health and your physical body and your mental health and your peace and your happiness. There's no fucking amount of money, dude, that is worth that. And I have talks all the time with young coaches, the ones that work here for me and the ones that message us. And we've been talking about doing a mastermind group. I might put one together for entrepreneurs, not just in fitness, but in businesses in general, if you're looking to run a small business or different businesses, because I know there's a lot of things we could do to help people kind of shortcut that and be successful. And if you love this life and you think it's for you, then I know we could help you. But I have a lot of these conversations with these guys, and sometimes it becomes, they're just focused on money, man. And I get it. We all have to make money. It's an economical world and an even weirder one than the one that obviously I grew up in. But don't give up everything just for money or a job title, especially if you're working for a company that would replace you in 15 fucking seconds if you got run over by a truck. And that's no offense to the company, but the company's got to do business. And they don't give a shit. Like the machine has to run. Whether you're there or Rick's there or Donna's there or Amanda's there, they don't give a shit. They'll just slot somebody else in their place. So give them the best you can give them when you're there, but don't give them your life. Don't sacrifice the relationships with your friends and family and your husband or wife. And sure as fuck, do not give your business or someone else's business your health. It is not worth it, my friends. And in reference, to you guys who just want to, walk and bike and hike and garden, that stuff is awesome. Keep doing that stuff. Like that is what is going to lift you guys over the top. But you can't replace a real program just with walking. I think walking is amazing. I really do. But I would like to get you into something that makes sense. Because I do believe you need to do some more dynamic things with using some type of resistance, whether that be body weight, whether that be light resistance bands, whether that be light dumbbells, whether it be, water work in the pool. I believe that's important. I believe everybody has to have like a baseline level of strength. Do I think you guys have to load up heavy shit with a barbell? Absolutely not. Do I think you have to do heavy ass overhead carries and farmer's carries and push a sled like me outside for 30 to 60 minutes at a time? No, that's some Michael Myers psychopath shit. But I do think you have to be able to, get to a point where you can do a push-up, where you can do a body weight squat, where you can hang from a pull-up bar for like 30 seconds to a minute, where you can actually get up off the ground unassisted. Where you can carry grocery bags, a good distance, which is a farmer's carry, that isn't going to exhaust you. And you don't get that from walking, because if you never do those other things, those skills do diminish. And you have to understand, the psychology of this and the physiology of it all, like the basic activities that we just do day to day, walk a little bit, sit a little bit, they don't provide the same benefits of even 1 of 2 days per week of training. I do think 3 is ideal, 3 workouts a week, 30 minutes a piece for 52 weeks for most of the average people. That's fucking money. You do your walking, your gardening, your hiking, you play with your dog on top of that. You're, fucking indestructible if you're doing mobility inside of those things. I think you guys will be great. Because as the saying goes, if you don't use it, you're more than likely to lose it. And of course, if that doesn't matter to you, then by all means, take the summer months and completely punt them. But just know the things like mobility and body control and physical strength and cardiovascular endurance and lean muscle mass, they're the most important things you can have when it comes to longevity and actually living a healthy, fit life as you age. I'm not talking about just moving weight. That's a different thing. Like being strong, quote unquote, and just moving weight from point A to point B is a different thing than being fit and being functional and being healthy and be able to do cool shit outside the gym walls. And without consistent, proper training of the basic stuff, low barrier entry exercises, I'm not talking about complex shit here. Those skills are going to diminish and they're going to dwindle away year after year after year. And they literally wither away in old age. They really do. It's no different than me in let's say it's my golfing skills. Like as a kid, I'd hook a golf bag to my backpack and I'd ride that shit to Westfield Golf Course, which is just, shout out to Westfield Golf Course. I had a membership for the summer. It was probably like $30. And I would take my shitty ass Dunlap Shopko fucking golf clubs that my dad bought me. Appreciate you, Dad. And I'd ride my Huffy 10-speed to the golf course. And then as you leave, it's actually uphill on the way back to my house. That shit sucked. But it was a hell of a workout. And I would golf. And I got pretty good for a shitty kid, whatever that is. Was I Tiger Woods? No, it's terrible. But for a little kid, I could play the course and shoot and not lose 15 balls a hole. If I go out and play today, I'm probably not as good as I was when I was 14 because I haven't used the skills. They diminish. If it's basketball, I used to play basketball, you guys, every fucking day of my life until I was probably 22 years old. Every day. And I love the game. I appreciate it at a level. It did so much for my life. It let me go to college, all these things. I like to think that I'm kind of as good as I was. Let's be honest, I am fucking terrible now compared to me at 22. Now in a game of one-on-one, my 22-year-old self, I can take my shirt off, I can be sweaty, I can body myself, I could foul myself. It'd be kind of competitive for a little bit, but skill-wise, those skills have diminished for me because without consistent, proper training, those skills have dwindled away little by little, year over year over year. You get me in the gym by myself and no one around, I can still get you buckets, and I can go on a streak and not miss for a pretty good amount of time. Now you put some in my face now off the dribble, those things, the percentage goes down drastically. The handles, they go down drastically. I can still dunk a basketball, but it's not the same as it used to be. And so the point is that when you don't use those skills, you lose them. And who really gives a shit if I can play golf anymore or if I can play basketball anymore? Those things aren't important to me as I age. However, being able to get up and down off the ground is. Being able to play with my dog is. Being able to do a push-up. Being able to move things around, go on a hike and play, that becomes important to me. I share all that because it's an easy example. If you look at your current life, when you've let things go, they don't get better. And you can pick some of them up, but if it's your physical body and your strength and your mobility and your endurance, you can only let that shit slide for so long, man, before some of those things aren't going to come back. And one more piece of advice, again, instead of the all or nothing, kind of start and stop bullshit mentality, I encourage you guys to just switch to kind of I don't want to say gain and maintain mindset, but a more of a what is the minimum effective dose you can commit to daily, weekly, or monthly to keep making progress. Side note, we did yesterday actually film an entire new mobility program. It is, what is the program itself? It is 16 different unique videos. We have you guys go through them twice to test and retest. It's a 32-day I call it microdosing. Don't know anybody steal it because I know you fucking stole it. Microdosing mobility program that will have come out. I think at the end of the year, it'll be the perfect time frame because this next summer Metcon program, we have a lot of mobility pieces. But the microdosing one is something that everybody can do with us. Everybody who's listening to this can do it, and you all should do it. It's a 5-minute investment every single day. It'll come out later. But the point is that that is something you can all commit to. And I want you guys to think right now, what can you commit to every single week in terms of physical activity? And maybe it changes different seasons of life, but especially when it's busy for you, whether it's busy if you're an accountant, it's busy, in quarter one of the year. If you're, a school teacher and you got your own kids, then you're at home now with your kids for the summer, maybe that's the busy time for you and you got to deal with like the 5 kids that you got running around driving you crazy. But think of it as like, where am I at in this season of life and what can I commit to that I'm not going to waver and it's not going to be negotiable? And if you go back and think about like kind of this gain in, maybe maintain mindset, or the way I look at it is it's like it's all progress. There really is no maintenance or maintain. To me, it's like baby steps, big steps. So some of the year you're taking big steps forward, and some of the year you're just taking baby steps forward, and that's okay. So whether you ran a mile of the marathon or you walked a fucking mile of the marathon, you're still moving forward in the marathon. What I'm asking you to do is just to not sit on the sideline and do nothing. That basically means during certain times of the year or certain years of life, you can focus on making bigger gains and bigger steps, while other times you just focus on, if you want to think of it as maintaining, it's fine, but I think of it as just taking baby steps because you're never staying the same. You're moving forward, you're moving backwards. Either way, you have to keep taking the steps forward and you have to keep doing the fucking reps. Regardless if it's summertime or there's vacations or there's party or there's work travel or there's whatever bullshit excuse that you put on yourself to put your health and fitness second, third, fourth, or last in your life. You cannot do that. If you're listening to me, you guys are great. I appreciate the support. Stop putting yourself behind other people in terms of the physical and mental health you have. Stop putting that anywhere but first on the fucking depth chart. You cannot do that. And I know this shit riles me up a little bit, but I'm passionate about it because I see people do it here every single day. And I know I always reverse engineer for my own life. When I don't feel good, man, when I have injuries to take care of, when I have mental stuff I'm dealing with, when I physically just don't feel me, it sucks, dude. And I do well on not making other people around me pay the price for it, but most people are not good at that. So I just sit and I bury it inside and I just fucking suffer through it. And it sucks, dude. And I know a lot of you suffer too. And then everybody else around you suffers. Whether you realize it or not, like, and I think like, well, I do good. So like Heather doesn't suffer when I don't feel good. That's not true. Like, I'm not as, funny. I'm not as energetic. I'm not as creative. I'm not as insert whatever the word is, because I don't feel good. And a lot of you are living like that day after day after day at the expense of your kids or your job or your husband or your wife or whatever the fuck it is. And I'm urging you to stop doing that. You're not too busy to do things for yourself each and every day. Even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, make that a priority. And I promise you, you will thank me 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. It can change everything. And the last thing I'll leave you with is just this little note from Tyler English here. And it's to the dudes out there. And it can be anybody. I just know I talk a lot on here and I'm a dude, so I feel free I can crush dudes. But if you're a lady and you want to take this to heart, then you can take it too, and just know it comes from a place of love. And nothing on here is ever from a place of judgment. But, he wrote this, and this is Tyler's words. Dear men, if you're fat and out of shape, do something different this weekend. Put down the drink. Stop eating like a teenager. Drink more water. Eat some protein with a damn vegetable. And go to the fucking gym. Repeat Saturday and repeat Sunday. Yours in health, Tyler. Now, that fits for everybody. And it's basically this whole podcast wrapped up in about 60 seconds. Just take care of yourself. It's important. And I know it's tough, man, because we are busy and we're doing more now than we've ever done. And I don't want to leave this on a depressing note, but I was having a conversation this morning with I'm going to forget his name. He's a orthopedic physical therapist, and him and I were just talking, and I'll probably get him on the podcast here at some point. And it's just my observation doing this for a long time. We have more coaches and more, nutritionists and dietitians and more apps and more gadgets and more information and more, advice on, how to optimize your body. And let's, make sure you go to sleep at this time and get up at this time and, walk with bare feet on the ground and sit in front of a red light and all that stuff's great, dude. And every person like me sharing advice is great. But we are the unhealthiest we've ever been. We are the fattest and the sickest and the brokest financially and the most stressed that we've ever been in the history of time. Yet we have more technology and we have more coaches and more information and more everything than we've ever had in the history of time. Yet we are moving in the wrong direction. And that makes no sense. But here we are. And that is why I share the Derek Sivers quote of, if more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs. And I don't have an answer for everything, but if I was to leave you with any tip of advice from all that stuff, it's just do the things that are good for you today, and that will also be good for you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Protect your physical health, you guys. Maintain your mobility. Keep the strength in your body that you think is important. Be aerobically fit. And mentally put yourself in a place to be successful and create an environment and an ecosystem that is positive for you and that supports you. And that comes down to the job that you work and the place that you sleep and the things that you listen to and the things that you watch and your friends and your family and all the people around you. You got to give yourself a fighting chance. You really do. Because sometimes, depending on how you look at it, maybe the cards are stacked against you, whether it's genetics or, the economy or timing or the world or whatever other factors are out there. And you can't control any of that shit, but you can control what you put in your mouth, and you can control, how active you are every single day, and you can control the people that you surround yourself with and the things that you listen to. And if you build a real good support team, whether it be listening to people like me or joining an app or having a good community and a coach or a great spouse and awesome kids and all these things, you're going to be okay. But you have to stop putting this stuff secondary. You put your own mask on first. And you are not too busy to do that. It might look different than my version looks, and that's okay. But you can all commit to doing something for yourself. Because if you don't, it's not when you're going to have a problem, or actually it's not if you're going to have a problem, it's when you're going to have a problem. And you will have one, for sure. At some point, your body will just be like, hey man, I've had enough. And something will tell you that, you need to slow down or you need to take care of this. And I don't want you guys to get there. It's like doing prehab, right? It's like preventative medicine. It's doing things before there's an issue. That's what we do healthcare wrong, obviously, in America for sure. We don't go do anything until we're already fucked up. I would urge you to not get to the point of being fucked up. I would urge you to start working on the things that you want to improve on today. And sometimes that's just the mental stuff. Committing to something you can do each day to move the needle forward. And again, this might be a season of life where you're taking huge steps and you're crushing it, or it might be a season of life where you take baby steps. Either way, you got to keep doing the reps and you got to keep stacking the bricks and you got to keep taking the steps. So take that with you today, this guy. Hopefully this, lit you up a little bit. I'm getting tired and I have a lot of work to do, but I appreciate you guys, everybody on the Jeremy Scott Fitness app. Your weekly workouts will be coming here shortly. I appreciate all you guys. And again, the next challenge inside the app is our Summer Advanced Metcon coming May the 22nd. It will be awesome. Like always, you guys will love it. We'll do another awesome free trip. Probably bring you to Scottsdale. You can meet us, hang out with us. We'll put you at one of the resorts. It'll be a fun time. But again, jeremyscottfitness.app. You guys want to join it for free 7-day trial. Check it out. Bring your friends. Let's make it a party. And we'll all get fit and healthy together. And we can commit to each other. Also, if you guys want to check out any of the JLab Pro supplements, the link is in the show notes. The same thing for Athletic Greens. If you guys want a free sample, hit me up. Otherwise, Jeremy Scott Fitness. What is it? JLab Pro? I don't even know. I'm losing my mind here. Anyways, everything's in the show notes. If you want the free shit, just ask for it. If you got a question on supplements or anything, we have a free supplement guide. I know people ask me a bunch of questions on Instagram here, and I'm really I'm running out of time. I know somebody asked me about the creatine I take, and I'm I'm spacing on the brand name here. So just hit me up, you guys, and ask a message. And if you ask me individual questions on Instagram, which I'm completely blanking on right now, and I'm looking through my phone and I can't find them because I'm brain dead, just shoot it to me. If I haven't done a podcast on it already, I'll quick answer back, and I'll hit you up. So there's that. So thank you guys. As always, I'm a real human. I get tired, and I'm there today. So if you're on Apple Podcast, drop it a 5-star, leave a comment. I truly do appreciate it. It means a lot to us, and it helps us out selfishly. If you want to drop us a Google review, we love the 5 stars there. That does help a ton as well. And if you're on Spotify, leave it a 5-star. It takes all of 10 seconds, and we appreciate it. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys as always. And until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people. And please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.